The best of Money Matters.
Welcome to The Right Business, where we dive deep into the stories of trailblazers who dare to disrupt the status quo, find the gap in the market to find the right business. Hello, I'm Hongbin Jeong. Now, the world of luxury isn't just about indulgence, but it's also about creating truly unforgettable experiences. Our next guest is in the business of not just curating top-tier VIP experiences, but also crafting moments that speak to the soul. The Lumenere Group specializes in designing exclusive agents or exclusive events that not only leave a lasting impression on high net worth clients, but also deliver strong ROI for brands. So how is TLG revolutionizing the luxury experience landscape? Well, joining me today to share more is Kevin Au, who is the Chief Strategy Officer and the founder of the Lumenere Group. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Hey, Hongbin. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. Kevin, what was the inspiration behind the creation of the Lumenere Group? And was there a particular gap in the market that you were trying to fill?
Absolutely. So, as you said, luxury has always been about exclusivity, right? But I saw a major gap. I think brands were merely hosting events, not really solving a solution. And that's where we found that a lot of that budget gets wasted. A lot of brands and events companies right now really focus on the logistics over the emotions, right? The operational aspects of it, the aesthetics. They make it look beautiful rather than the impact. And that's where we really found that that's missing the real opportunity to connect, right? So, in the digital world, when you build a website or an app, there's a lot of the UI, UX, right? But for high level, like let's say banks or luxury brands, they have to deal with clients in person. Digital can only take you so far, right? There isn't anyone that optimizes the in-person experience. And when we actually found out, the sales team have sort of a sales training, but most of the time they don't know how to engage beyond the traditional sales. And when you try to sell, people's guards are up, right? So the impact of actually selling is actually very bad. So for us, when we create an experience, we take that into account and try to create an experience that really optimizes the environment to achieve different goals.
I see. So how does TLG set itself apart from other event planning companies that are also in the market right now? What's TLG's unique selling point?
So we're not really a events company at all. If I had to say, our USP is in the business of influencing behavior. We understand and utilize behavior psychology. Most events companies, like you said, focus on that creativity, the logistics, the execution. But we focus on what makes people tick, and we use that to inspire action. So that's a very different approach from the get-go. For us, it's not just hosting a luxury event. It's about engineering the experience like how a magician engineers a trick. It's not about just the grand finale. It's really the entire process. So we craft every touch point from how a guest, enters the room, but even before that, how they receive the invitation. We built that anticipation. We ensure that what happens in events is the churn rate. The dropout rate tends to be very high, right? But for us, we've sort of figured that out.
Okay.
So in a lot of our events now, our rate is less than 5%. Very few companies are able to do that. And when you're doing an event or an experience, the most important thing is you want people to show up. And a lot of companies out there, this becomes a problem for them. And it's something that we've managed to solve.
I see. And how does Amber Experiences fit into what you're doing with the Lumenere Group?
So this is exciting. So Amber Experiences is a natural evolution of what we do at TLG. So it's a marriage between Amber Lounge, which is the global leader in F1 celebrations. I'm not sure if you know Amber Lounge. Yeah. So Amber Lounge and Lumenere essentially got married, and we're now expanding our services past the 2-day F1 parties to a year-round portfolio of exclusive experiences.
Wow.
So while TLG experiences in custom brand, very bespoke type experiences, Amber Experiences will offer pre-built. The team will already curate, will go out to the world and sort of pre-build all these things that money can't buy. We then put it on a global portfolio and then have our members access that site.
Amazing.
So I think that's exciting because we've now built this experiential catalog, giving clients access to these once-in-a-lifetime experiences. Whether it's private dinners with F1 drivers, up-close experiences with celebrities, backstage access to the Grammys, the Vanity Fair Awards. Last week, we even had access to the presidential inauguration for Donald Trump. Yeah. So a lot of that is previously inaccessible, right? For us, we figured out a way to make it accessible to our VIP customers.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So, can you give us a better idea of some of the unique events or experiences that TLG has done in the past?
Wow. So I think one of the exciting things that we did, because I'm a space freak, and we managed to work with Virgin Galactic and their agency Intrigue recently. And we created a high impact experience centered around suborbital space travel. Right. So it wasn't just an event to inform, but our goal for that was to make guests feel the thrill of space and really to create a deep emotional connection. Exclusivity was definitely key. We kept it to just 40 guests, and we did that artificially because by leveraging this scarcity to drive the desire, we made people want to show up to our thing, right? So everyone wanted it. We started the experience even before them showing up. There is this sort of building blocks to designing experiences. So there's anticipation, participation, and reflection, right? So anticipation is when you send them the invite, how do you engage them so that they're constantly very excited to get there, right? Most companies would send the invite, wait for 30 days, and then in that 30 days, a lot drop out. But we figured out how to do that. So, we designed entire experience for immersion. When guests walked in, they heard the actual sounds of the NASA space shuttle, the space chatter between the actual spacecraft and mission control. So a lot of that is classified. You would never hear in a million years, right?
Yeah.
So for us, as guests came into this, we created this environment. That was the first thing. It was like, wait, where are we, right? We created this entire environment. And then we created a sensory shift. So after a welcome cocktails, we plunged the entire ocean restaurant, RWS, into darkness. Because for us, we couldn't hold this experience in space. Like this was like a sales acquisition process. We couldn't do it in space, or we couldn't do it on top of the building. So what we did was we flipped the switch and brought them down to the deepest depths of the ocean. So when we create unique experiences, we want it to be memorable. So what we did was we shut off all the lights. So as guests walked into the room, they were just filled with the glow of the ocean. And then you see all the whales and the sharks moving around. So it was our way of sort of mimicking space.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So to make it even more personal, we flew the astronauts from Virgin down to Singapore. It's not every day you get to meet an astronaut and him showing you pictures of what space looks like from his phone, right? We even got Richard Branson to record a custom video just for the people in the room.
Oh, wow.
So everything is very personalized. As the astronauts were talking, one of the things we did was, because everything is multi-sensory, right? To help people absorb the material better, we even played beta state music. So if you understand who Hans Zimmer is, when you listen to music that sort of puts you in a certain state of lull, all you do is absorb information.
Right.
So we played that in the background. So there's many of these invisible strings that happen during one of our experiences that you may not even realize, but everything is designed to put you into a certain state, right? So the result is, we had 100% attendance, no dropouts, and some of the guests were so inspired that they even signed up and committed for future space travel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and tickets are not cheap. It's 600 grand per ticket. Yeah, and we've managed people to get commit. Yeah.
Wow, sign me up. I want to attend one of your events now. I mean, you emphasize focusing on how customers feel rather than just what they see, integrating behavioral psychology with, strategic experience design. So walk us through how you design these experiences that tap into customers' emotions to drive decisions. I mean, when you have this kind of event, what are you looking for?
So rather than it sort of being a fuzzy art, we've sort of nailed it down into a science.
Okay.
So I'm going to get a little geeky here, okay? So there's this thing called an experience matrix, right? So think of it as a triangle, and there are 5 different slots, right? Right at the bottom is mundane. So mundane are sort of you organizing a friend's birthday, HR type of training session. People do it, but it's very little thought goes into it. It's more routine, it's more prosaic, it's more autopilot, right? The next level up is mindful.
Okay.
So mindful takes into account, example, if it's a Taylor Swift concert, right? And there's, 60,000 fans and the door is a single door. You know there's going to be a bottleneck, right? So that's not being mindful. Mindful means, even before the event starts, you sort of take a virtual mind's eye trip through the entire space. Any bottlenecks or any issues, you already flag that. And you would think that as actually one of the most basic elements, right? I went to a luxury event recently and it was on the second floor of a mall. And because of the way it was positioned, they didn't put any signages at the bottom. And not only me, a lot of people got lost.
Okay.
So if you take into account mindfulness and you know that the different entry points, you would sort of have taken that into account. Because with experiences, you also don't want to have negative experiences, right? And when you put people into a state of mind, then everything else that follows, they're non-receptive after that, right? So after mindful, it becomes memorable first. So memorable is same thing. You go to a lot of events. In the last 6 months, how many events till this moment do you still remember?
Oh dear, I'm not sure.
Right? So there's a lot of stuff that happens. We attend a lot, but the goal for a lot of events isn't it to be memorable. And if brands are spending so much money, why shouldn't it be memorable?
Right.
And being memorable is really a formula. You need to do certain checklists, and we've sort of understood and studied that. So for us to backward engineer, it's pretty simple. The next step after memorable is meaningful. So meaningful means when you go to an event, you'll feel like that was personalized and suited for you, right? There's that emotional connection to that. And then after meaningful becomes transformational. Transformational means when you attend an experience, your life goes on a different tangent because of that moment. So that's a really powerful moment. So most event companies are really on the first two levels. That's why when I say their goals are very different. So for us, our minimum is it being memorable and meaningful. Transformational is pretty difficult because you need the element of time and follow-up, but that's where we set our sights. So when we have that goal post, then we can develop things with that in mind.
Right. Well, there's also this saying, right, Kevin? The rich get bored easily. Is this true? Do you see this often? How do you cater to the unique needs of these specific group of people then?
So with the very affluent crowd, I think, buying things after a while becomes really boring. How many handbags can you have? How many cars can you have? And if you understand sort of Maslow's hierarchy of needs as well, right at the bottom is physiological. But for them, because of their money, they don't have to worry about the basics. The top is really self-actualization.
Okay.
So for them, the normal wealth and material tends to get boring after a while. They then try to figure out how to become the best version of themselves because they finally get to live for themselves right now, right? So that's why when we design the experiences, we focus on emotion, personalization, and really empowering their passions. Because for this group of clients, a private dinner isn't enough. They've done it so much, they do it on multiple times basis, it just becomes boring, right? And expected. So for us, if we ever did a private dining, it has to be with the right people, in the right setting, with a very powerful story behind it. So once you check these boxes up, you make a normal dining experience very different.
It sounds very challenging trying to cater to the changing consumer behaviors and their expectations. But looking ahead, what do you think the future holds for experiential marketing and event planning? Are there any specific trends that you're particularly excited about in the coming years?
Definitely. I think the experiential economy is definitely booming. I just read an article today about London issuing its 10-year growth plan, and the experiential economy is actually a single pillar in one of that. So it's a core part of countries right now. The consumer expectations are definitely evolving as well. Personalization, immersion, and exclusivity isn't optional. They're really essential at the moment. Generic VIP events won't cut it anymore. I think brands really need to create deeply personal, purpose-driven experiences that forge real emotional connections. the rise of hybrid and digital physical experiences is definitely coming up. We've all seen these sort of like digital, like Le Petit Chef experiential dinners and stuff like that. They're not here to replace physical touch points, but with the tech, they're really enhancing the entire experience. So I think that's something that's coming up, and it's going to be pretty exciting to look out for.
I see.
Digital-driven experiences will be the next frontier. Brands that really track the behavior, how they know how to predict preferences and tailor experiences in real time, will create unforgettable moments that drive long-term loyalty.
I see. Well, with this rapidly changing consumer behaviors and expectations, then, how do you stay ahead of trends and ensure that your designs remain fresh and relevant in the long term?
Right. We don't chase trends. I think we create them.
Oh, okay.
So instead of, reacting to the market, we anticipate what high net worth customers will crave before they do. So we're plugged into a global network of experienced designers in this thing called the World Experience Organization. So the top guys at Disney, Netflix, and all these places have all come together, and they're sort of a free trade of ideas. So this gives us a real-time insights into what's working worldwide. So experience design is always evolving. The trial and error part is inevitable. But for us, because we're plugged into this entire community, we get to see what works and what doesn't. And that helps us minimize or accelerate our failure and success process. So I think that to us, we're in the right intersection of several different things to make it work.
Amazing. And before we let you go here, Kevin, what's next for the Lumenere Group? And at the same time, what can we expect from the Amber experiences for 2025 and beyond?
Right. So Lumenere will continue to fold into Amber Experiences. We recently just launched a website, so it's amberexperiences.com if you want to check it out. Please sign up for it. We're definitely looking to create bigger, bolder, more immersive experiences. The vision is definitely to scale globally because Amber Lounge has global customers. So for us, not just in Singapore where I'm based, I think we're having to sort of scale up and grow very, very quickly. So that's the scary yet exciting part for us, And when we have this entire portfolio, we like to think of it as a, Michelin star tasting menu, right?
Okay.
Where every experience is curated, rare, and unforgettable. Really designed for top-level audiences who expect nothing less.
I see. Well, looking forward to what kind of trends you're going to set next. Well, thank you so much, Kevin, for joining me today.
Cool. Thank you, Hongbin.
Thank you. That was Kevin Au, who is the Chief Strategy Officer and founder of the Lumenere Group. This has been The Right Business with me, Hongbin Jeong.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.